Is this thing on? All right, we're close to the home stretch. The good news is I'm talking about the food industry and blockchain applications, which Peter actually just a couple sessions ago talked through a lot of what I was going to cover, so we can get to I guess the meat of the show, which is yes, a live demo. So hopefully it all works. So I guess first I just want to start with a brief intro of who Smartbridge is and why we're here. And so Smartbridge, not Sweetbridge, also a very cool name. Smartbridge is a full-service consulting firm. And so, we help our clients just like a Deloitte or an Accenture, really with the full stack of technologies, as well as helping them with their digital transformation. So I won't go through all of these, but the two on the bottom left, blockchain and application integration, are the key ones relevant to kind of my chat here today. So beyond that, we do have a pretty decent foothold in the restaurant and food service space. So you guys probably recognize a lot of the folks up here. And so both on the restaurant side as well as on the food distribution side, which is equally as important. This one?
No, this one right here. Where's your audio jack?
It's on that side.
Okay, there you go. Cool.
Should I start over? Just kidding. Like I said, in the restaurant space, as well as on the food distribution side, which is really important, as everyone has talked about, really having these consortiums that really justify using blockchain instead of just a database, right? So, we've all talked about how the ledger has, come a long way. It's gone digital. Spreadsheets and ERP side of things, we now are to this distributed ledger. And that's blockchain. So when we move into really the food industry challenges, right? I'll put a couple of these articles up, and actually several. The top 4 there are within the past 5 or 6 weeks. So we've heard about the E. coli one. We've heard about the eggshell recall. There was some chicken sold at Sam's Club that was also suspect. On the bottom left, there was a settlement that one of the big olive oil manufacturers had to settle because they were inauthentically claiming that their product was from Italy when it really wasn't. The one on the bottom, I like that one. Contraband avocados. It sounds so dangerous. And we are going to talk about avocados as part of the demo. But in this case, it was a situation where one country didn't want avocados from another country coming across the border. Because it depressed their local market because they were seen as having a higher quality. And so, this country of origin is kind of rearing its head. And then the dark side of the truffle trade, again, so scary, but you think about all these high value products that people try to copy or try to cheat, try to fake. And so the blockchain, if implemented kind of vertically through the entire supply chain, does have the ability to clean up some of these challenges. So from the actual value chain, Peter talked about it being very complicated, and here's a picture of what the food value chain might look like. And obviously it's different for every provider, but it starts at the field and comes through one-to-many transportation hops. It gets processed, packaged, repackaged, shipped. So it really does go a long way from the field to the fork, so to speak. And along with that, really, that's where this complexity that blockchain can help when you're trying to find and be able to track the chain of custody. That's really where blockchain can come in. And so I want to go through some of the key challenges, right, within the food industry. So foodborne illness, right? We've all recently just come out of the romaine lettuce E. coli scare, and that was finished because the shelf, the products ran out. It wasn't because we found it and were able to eliminate the problem. It was because the clock elapsed. And so that isn't really how we want, as consumers, since we all eat, that's not really how I would like these problems to be resolved. So I think you heard a lot of the stats that Peter mentioned about 1 out of 6 Americans get sick annually. But the spinach incident back probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, where you literally could not find spinach in any grocery shelf for weeks on end. The impact to just California farmers is estimated to have been about $75 million. So very significant challenges because there wasn't the ability to pinpoint where the problem is. So second, customers demand quality and transparency. We heard about guaranteeing the authenticity and being able to say that, yes, this is truly non-GMO, or it's certified organic or fair trade. Think about all the different labels that could be and likely are inappropriately being attached when they're not actually being validated. So quick poll. Who has watched any of the episodes of Rotten on Netflix? Couple hands. If you haven't, as people who eat food, you should. I'll admit it's a little bit sensational. They obviously are trying to make a point and increase the drama just so you'll watch the next episode. But it does talk about a lot of the adulteration that happens within the food supply chain. They talk about it in terms of dairy, with chickens, with garlic, with fish. And so there's a lot of different situations where somebody is trying to cheat because it's financially beneficial for them to claim that their product is something that it's not. Honey is a big one. Lots of product coming in from overseas that isn't really honey. It might be some sort of a rice syrup. So anyway, I encourage you to watch it. But customers want to be able to trust what's on the label. And then the records of the food journey, right? As many hops as there are in that path, nobody has access to all of the records. The FDA only requires one up, one down, meaning where did I get the product that I'm processing or using, and where did I send it? And that's about it.
Plug it back in. This mic's live, so if you want to keep talking.
Okay. Hello? I gotta turn it on. Where's the button? I don't know.
Check.
It's on. So records of the food journey are not really captured, and it isn't required to be captured up and down. It's only required hop by hop, which explains why it took Walmart almost a week to find the records of all of the hops that those mangoes went on. So we've heard a lot about how blockchain works. We've talked about a lot of the benefits, so I won't belabor the point here, but the distributed, transparent, and we lost it. What'd you do?
I just unplugged it, plugged it back in. It's still on your screen in here. But at least it stopped jumping over there. So
We're back.
perfect.
All right. So suffice to say that blockchain does have the ability to provide a level of audit trail, efficiency, and ultimately what we all want, and you've heard this word a lot, so I'm going to say it again, trust. I think I need a new laptop. So the benefits, and I won't talk about each of these in depth. Daniel actually is going to talk about this next one, but from farmers' perspective, being able to monetize and give them the worth that they probably aren't getting now, right? The small piece of margin that they get, considering their base cost relative to what it's ultimately sold at, they're not collecting a huge portion of that margin. So that's a big piece of how blockchain could help them get their products to market. Next, recalls, right? It's always better to rifle than to shotgun. And in this case, blockchain would be able to help, in the E. coli situation, be able to get to the end of it quicker. Automation of custody changes. We've talked about the number of records. I was at a Gartner Supply Chain Executive Conference last week in Phoenix, and it's not food, but it's similar. IBM was on stage, and they said that for someone to sell tulips from Africa in the Amsterdam floral market, there's literally 22 documents that have to be filled out along that path. It seems like it would be a pretty straightforward one, but it's significant. And so the automation, reduction of back office is definitely there. Collaboration, being open and transparent, that's really one of the primary focuses of blockchain. And then ultimately, the authenticity. So if you want to break down these supply chains into a physical flow and a digital flow, first, the physical product is shipped and moved along the path. But if you were to enable blockchain enable the entire process. Yes, you have to have technology at each of these pieces. So we'll talk about some of the headwinds that are facing us. But theoretically, someone could, whatever activity or value add they're producing, you could put that activity on the blockchain as well as the point of handoff and be able to take it all the way down the line. Ultimately, with the customer being able to see, hey, where did this come from? So, quick tee up for the scenario that I'm going to demonstrate here. And it is live, so hopefully it works. The Wi-Fi was a little flaky earlier. So we've got this physical flow. So we're representing the handoff of an avocado, in this case, from the distributor to a restaurant. And from a technology standpoint, I won't get into the weeds too much, but on each side, both of those actors have their own enterprise systems that are involved. On one side, the distributor side, they're running JD Edwards as their ERP. And on the restaurant side, they're using NetSuite. And so what we've done is our prototype basically is a mobile app along with the web services and the integrations with ERP to not only, it basically handles the physical flow, it handles all the ERP activities associated with the sales order and the purchase orders, and then it also represents all of this on the blockchain. So let's try. Fake avocado. Another fake avocado. An iPad that we will plug in. Thank you, Jason. I was going to mirror everything on one computer, but this Wi-Fi doesn't do that. Excuse me. So, the big iPad, what we have is this app that we've called XChain2. It's a custom application that Smartbridge has developed. And what I first want to do is I want to view the lineage of one of the items that we have. So I'll click View Lineage. Using the camera, I will see if you can see the avocado with the QR code. And what it's doing is it's going to the blockchain and basically retrieving all of the historical records of that particular product. Now, obviously, we didn't bring a fake avocado from Mexico through an importer up to Houston, so we fabricated that. But the transaction that we're about to see as we transfer this avocado from the distributor to the restaurant is live and will work. So just to show you that it's not fake, we've got another avocado that isn't from Mexico. This one is from, looks like California, Exeter, California, someplace in the Central Valley. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the product. So what we're now doing is the application is going out, looking in JD Edwards, saying, hey, what are the sales orders that I have for avocados that I can sell? And instead of picking it, I can really just scan it. So we will move the avocado from Mexico. So we'll scan the QR code. And based on the serialized inventory that's in JD Edwards, it knows what sales order it's assigned to. And so you can see the details. In this case, it's going to off-the-chain tacos. And so what we will do is transfer it. Now, the way that we have to transfer it, you need to basically establish the catcher, right? So we're pitching at this point. We need to have the catcher. So when we transfer, if I can do this with multiple hands. So I'm going to receive the product. And to do that, I have to authenticate myself. And to do that, I will view my wallet ID. And so basically, this is an address on the Ethereum network. Would you like to transfer the product to the wallet scanned? Yes. Transfer completed. So, if we refresh, we should see the sales order update. And you can see that first one, it's now showing as delivered. All right, so that was the pitch. Let's do the catch. So, because the serialized inventory isn't in the restaurant's inventory yet, we're bringing it in. We just need to find a purchase order that is for an avocado. And look, all of them are. So let's select one. And we want to receive it. So now when I want to bring the serialized inventory into NetSuite, I now scan the same avocado that I handed off before. Would you like to accept? Yes. Success. Now if we go back and refresh, we should see the purchase order update to pending bill. Or it dies. That's lovely. I was so close. If it dies again, I'm moving on. There it is. Yay. Pending bill, that first one. Okay, last step. Let's look at the lineage. Let's make sure it updated on the blockchain. So again, we're going to scan it. And it should have been moved to off the chain. Hey, look at that. It was. I think that's the address of Velvet Taco. If you haven't been, go. But there it is. So, ERPs both updated on the selling side and the receiving side. Blockchain has been updated as well. Now, clearly, this was a kind of a goofy example, right? You're not going to sell one avocado, and you're not going to necessarily tag one avocado at a time. But the point is that blockchain, until we're further down the path and everybody's extremely comfortable with the smart contracts handling any and all functionality that might be in an ERP, each side is still going to have their enterprise systems. And so application integration is going to be a big piece of how this will work. And I'll bet my machine went to sleep. So I'll just close. In short, it's coming, right? Blockchain is coming. I think there's many supply chain use cases where it will make sense. I think if I had to give you guys some recommendations, I would say start thinking about where's the friction in your business, especially when it involves third parties, right? Again, if there's friction within your own business, fix it and use databases and real transactional systems. But if there's inter-party friction, those are possible opportunities. I think the second thing is start thinking about the consortium, right? So who might you be able to partner with to be able to bring some of these use cases to bear? And I think even though we're hearing a lot of pilot, I think that is the best first step to take. You have to, crawl, walk, run. Just one fact that I'll leave you with. At the Gartner conference last week, they were talking about a lot of the trends over the next several years. By 2020, they still think 80% of the blockchain activities that are going to be occurring by 2020 are still all proof of concept. So I think it's going to be just like everything else. It's going to hockey stick at some point, probably not in the next year or two. But as a service provider, we're engaging our team to build up those development smarts. We have lots of development smarts already, but specific to the blockchain technologies, that's what we're focused on, as well as focused on enterprise integration, because ultimately you're going to have to connect to the blockchain. So that's what I had. Any questions? All right. Thank you very much.